Hello and welcome back to another video on high altitude investing. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Velo and running over some comparisons and talking about just how high this coin can go. So let's get right into it. So first, I'm comparing Velo to Telcoin. You can see Telcoin over here on the right and Velo over here on the left. And the reason I want to show you this is how common this type of structure is in the crypto markets. You can see Telcoin, when it first got added to exchanges, it pumped a little bit here, but then it really started to fall off a cliff here and went all the way down to an all-time low. Then after it formed an all-time low, you can see the price bounced back up and came back down to major support before breaking out all the way to a new all-time high. So this is a pretty common structure in the crypto markets to see a massive correction like this, followed by a huge recovery in the market. So don't be surprised when you see a new coin get added to exchanges, especially at the beginning of the bear market where the price falls like 80% or 90%, and then it goes into a bull market afterwards, because this is extremely common to see this in the crypto markets. Now, if you look over here on the right, you can see the recovery on Telcoin was very pronounced and very vertical. It basically just completely recovered and went all the way to a new all-time high. And actually, the same thing is set up over here for Velo, the same market structure, the same pattern, and I expect a very similar move for Velo this cycle. Now we'll talk about the shorter time frame in just a second and what's going on the smaller time frame, but zoomed out here on the 10-day candlesticks, what I'm looking at for this coin is a strong recovery, a very vertical move, just exactly like what happened to Telcoin over here on the right. Now, how high can Velo go? You can see Telcoin did 50,000% from that local low all the way to the new all-time high. So if we get a very similar move here for Velo, we could see a $5 Velo in this up and coming pump. $5 would be around 50,000%. It's actually about $5.60 at 50,000% gains. So that's a pretty amazing percentage gain here for Velo in the bigger picture. Now let's talk about market cap a little bit here, because a lot of people are wondering, well, how could Velo grow so much in market cap? Well, the entirety of crypto is about to completely explode in terms of market capitalization. If you think $2 trillion for Bitcoin is a high market cap, just wait a year from now or even two and take a look at the market cap of Bitcoin, and you'll see that $2 trillion in total market cap for Bitcoin is actually quite small in comparison to what's about to happen for crypto. So that means that even coins that are lower on the top 100 list in terms of market capitalization will be increasing significantly in market cap. And some of these coins that are down on the list in the top 100 in market cap will be getting hundreds of billions in market cap. Even these coins that only have $1 billion right now could reach 100 billion, 200 billion in total market cap during the mass adoption phase for crypto. And if you think it's crazy that some of these coins that only have $1 billion in market cap could hit as high as 100 billion in market cap, go look at things like Dog with Hat that hit 4 billion in total market cap, and it's a total meme coin with no utility at all. So imagine what can happen to a good project like Velo while mass adoption is happening for crypto and the price of all of these things is going nuts and the market cap is going crazy. The price of Velo could go extremely high and the market cap could hit extremely high levels. And Velo also has a lot of really good utility. So imagine Velo hitting $1 billion or even 50 billion or even 100 billion in market cap. That would put Velo at around $5 per coin. So when Velo does see this vertical recovery here, the market cap is going to go completely insane along with the mass adoption that's taking place in the cryptocurrency markets. Now, another really good example of one of these corrections is Filecoin. So I have Filecoin pulled up over here, and you can see Filecoin, when it first got added to exchanges, pumped a little bit, but then it went for a huge correction and it fell like 95+% on the downside here. Then we saw a double bottom pattern, and Filecoin completely recovered all the way to a new all-time high inside of the bull market that happened in 2020 and 2021. So imagine what could happen to Velo during a mass adoption phase for crypto. That's why I believe that a $5 Velo is not only completely reasonable, but extremely possible for this bull market. You can see that even on the linear scale, $5 is not that far away. If you're comparing Telcoin again over here on the right and Velo on the left, you can see how high Telcoin went when it broke above its old all-time high and went all the way to the moon. So $5 is not that far away for Velo. So now that we've talked a little bit about the bigger picture, let's talk about the short term here. I'm on the daily candlesticks, and as you can see, Velo is in an uptrend. So we have a major trend line right here, and we came back down and tested that trend line recently. We also have hidden bullish divergence going all the way back to June of 2024. So you can see we have our low right here and our low on the MACD. Then we have a higher low in price and a lower low on the MACD. So that's hidden bullish divergence going all the way back to June and July of 2024. So that's a very strong buy signal for Velo here on the daily candlesticks. The other thing I want to talk about here with Velo is that we are forming a potential double bottom here on the daily candlestick. So we've came back down to our major support level. We saw a volume spike right here. If you zoom in, it's actually a pretty big one. And we're starting to show the potential signs of a double bottom pattern. If we double bottom right here, I expect a very strong reaction off of that trend line that I had drawn a second ago, all the way up to our local resistance and to a new local high. And that would really fuel this market to give it enough excitement to go all the way to a new all-time high in the bigger picture. Now, obviously, it's not going to happen instantly, but you saw how quickly both Telcoin and Filecoin pumped after they had bottomed out from their corrections. Once the market had bottomed out down here, you can see it was very vertical and very parabolic. No, it didn't happen overnight. We're on the 10-day time frame, so each candlestick represents 10 days worth of time, but it did happen relatively quickly, and it was mainly vertical movement with just some corrections along the way up. So I believe a very similar thing will happen here for Velo, where we will get a very vertical move, and it will pump very hard and very quickly. Even though it's not going to happen overnight, it will pump very fast. With that being said, if this really is the mass adoption phase for crypto, we could have a longer and more sustained bull market than even anything we saw on Filecoin or Telcoin, where the price continually increases over time and doesn't see any major bear market because the demand for crypto doesn't go anywhere. And that's really what signifies mass adoption, is the public are starting to adopt the technology, so the price continually gets driven higher and higher because the demand doesn't just get cut off really fast, like what happened in the last 2 cycles. So you got to be prepared for anything. We could see an even bigger cycle than anything we've seen before. And a lot of people might take profits too soon, expecting the markets to be cut off super quickly like it did the last 2 cycles, and then miss out on a whole bunch of profits in the future. So both in the short term and in the bigger picture, we're seeing a lot of reasons to be very bullish on Velo. There's a lot of profit to be had in this coin. Percentage gains are absolutely astronomical, and very few setups look as profitable as this coin. So be watching for a strong bullish reaction off of this trend line on the smaller time frames, and be watching for a strong bullish recovery zoomed out on the bigger time frame and a full-blown bull market all the way to a new all-time high. So that's my update on Velo. I hope you guys enjoyed it and you learned something. If you did, please share it with your friends, and I look forward to seeing you guys in future videos. And as always, stay profitable out there.